Hey Denchpegs, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and welcome to my review of the debut album from Kill the Noise. This one's called Occult Classic. And regardless of how much I love or dislike Kill the Noise, I was still really excited to hear this. Kill the Noise kind of started out, or at least I first heard his name on the scene when he did collabs with Skrillex and Korn back on their album The Path to Totality, or whatever the frick it was called, where they kind of just mixed a lot of dubstep producers, and that's where Feed Me kind of came onto the scene. Skrillex was getting popular at this time, so regardless, I was checking out Kill the Noise a little bit at least, and he was releasing some killer remixes and originals that I was definitely digging. And following his collab with Feed Me Far Away, I was definitely hyped to hear this because that was one of my favorite releases of last year. I think it came out. Definitely one of my favorites, just some super solid electro music. So when he announced this 10-track debut album, I was actually pretty excited to see it, especially seeing artists like AWOL Nation, Feed Me, Tommy Trash, and Dylan Francis featuring on this. I thought it was going to be such an awesome album, and it definitely came off as quite a disappointment. And I don't mean that in a way where I think all the tracks are bad, don't think that immediately, but I definitely don't think he pushed boundaries as much as he could have on this one. He definitely experiments a lot with different styles, but overall I really don't think it makes up for a solid debut. He starts off the album with the AWOL Nation and Rock City collab, Kill It for the Kids, which actually sounds quite a bit like Skrillex's Recess, especially in form and style. Continuing into F Your Management, he takes a little bit more of a bass house sound, which I was actually super digging. Like I always said, this style is something that's going to get huge, and it was cool to see this style on it, even though it's becoming one of the most generic. I think he did a really good job on production with this one. Mine, with Bryn Christopher, kind of sounds like it could have just been a classic Flux Pavilion song, which I wasn't too impressed with. Honestly, probably couldn't tell the difference. If someone would have said this is Flux Pavilion, I would have said, oh, cool. Sounds like his classic stuff. So, I'm not sure where I was going with that. And the album continues into my favorite track on the album, I Do Coke, with Feed Me. And people are making a lot of jokes about this, of the fact that it's called I Do Coke with Feed Me. It's just called I Do Coke. What the frick ever. It's about cocaine, and it's a really good song. The production is top-notch on this one. Definitely took it a step further than they were going with Far Away, and this song is one of the reasons why I'm not going to give this album an extremely bad rating. Just some really funny lyrics and sampling, and just a really killer beat, and something that I think most listeners are enjoying right now. The collab with Tommy Trash, Without a Trace, is also one I enjoyed a fair amount. I think it takes a little bit more on Porter Robinson's sound that he did with Worlds. I'm always friggin' tying that in with everything, so I might as well tie it in with this one too. And then comes a streak of some of the worst songs on the album, including Louder, Dolphin on Wheels, and Lose Ya Love, and none of these are particularly interesting. Really disappointed to see Dylan Francis doing a freaking Jungle Terror track. And actually, I'm going to give a quick shout out to my friend Greater Than, who is making a song called Ocean Terror that basically sounded exactly like Dolphin on Wheels, and did it before Kill the Noise and Dylan Francis released it, and then they released it just basically showing how generic of a freaking genre Jungle Terror is, and honestly probably my least favorite on the album. We get into Spitfire, Riddim, which basically sounds like it could have been a Knife Party song. Classic Knife Party, not too impressed with that one either. And we finish off with kind of a, I guess, lame closer, All in My Head with AWOL Nation. I think he featured 2 AWOL Nation tracks on this and 2 Rock City collabs, which makes me seem like he just kind of wanted to pump out a debut album while he had them in the studio, like, oh, let's do 2 tracks instead of 1. But overall, don't really think this made a really good closer. Not a bad track, I'm not saying by itself, but in the context of the record, I really don't think it sounded great. So anyway, I think I'm going to give this one a 4.5. There were some good solid tracks on this, and it does make for an okay listen. Definitely not incredible, not really bad in the slightest, but it was pretty sheerly disappointing, and featured a lot of styles that I think he could have innovated with. Instead, we're kind of dealing with just a recreation of a lot of different things, and I really think he could have improved on his own style with a debut album like Skrillex did, just kind of experimenting with a lot of different things that haven't been done before. Rather, with this one, we just get him pulling from a lot of different directions. Like I said, we get Knife Party, Flux Pavilion sounds, generic Jungle Terror, and even the bass house is pretty generic for what we've been hearing lately. Pretty disappointed with this as a whole, even though there were some good solid tracks like I Do Coke and F Your Management. Anyway, gonna give this one a 4.5. I think that's about the most fair rating I could possibly give it. After trying to decide for a while if I was going to give it a 5 or a 4, whatever, honestly doesn't matter. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to take a listen, let me know what you think of it in the description. People have been requesting this one a lot, so I'm glad I can finally push this out to you guys. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys later. Peace.